Most people never think about railroad signals. They see the crossing gates come down, the lights start flashing, and the train passes safely. Then they drive away without wondering who keeps that entire system working every single day. Behind every safe railway is a railroad signal maintainer, one of the most important technical professionals in the transportation industry. Their job isn't driving trains or laying tracks. Their responsibility is making sure trains know exactly when to stop, when to move, and which track to follow. A single malfunction can delay thousands of passengers, disrupt millions of dollars in freight, or create a dangerous situation. That's why railroads invest heavily in people capable of maintaining these critical systems. Becoming one isn't easy. Most companies require a strong background in electricity, electronics, or industrial maintenance. Many future signal maintainers attend technical schools before applying, while others begin as apprentices directly with a railroad company. The first months are spent learning the basics of railway operations, electrical safety, signaling principles, and the strict procedures that govern every maintenance task. Unlike many technical jobs, there's almost no room for improvisation. Every inspection follows detailed checklists because every component plays a role in protecting lives. Soon, trainees begin working alongside experienced maintainers. They learn how to identify different types of railroad signals, understand track circuits, inspect crossing gates, and recognize the electronic cabinets that control entire sections of railway. At first, most of the work involves observation, carrying tools, and assisting senior technicians. Every day becomes a classroom. One of the first surprises is how much walking the job requires. Railroad signal maintainers spend hours moving along active rail lines, inspecting equipment installed miles apart. Some days begin before sunrise. Others continue through heavy rain, snow, or intense summer heat. The railroad never stops, so maintenance often happens while trains continue operating nearby under carefully controlled safety procedures. As confidence grows, trainees begin performing simple inspections themselves. They check wiring, clean electrical contacts, test batteries, inspect relays, and verify that warning lights activate correctly. Every successful inspection builds trust. At the same time, they become familiar with the specialized tools of the trade, including multimeters, insulation testers, communication devices, and diagnostic equipment used to locate electrical faults quickly. Working around active railways also means developing constant situational awareness. Before approaching any signal equipment, maintainers communicate with dispatchers, verify track protection, and follow strict safety rules. One mistake around moving trains can have serious consequences. Experienced co-workers constantly remind new technicians that no repair is ever more important than returning home safely. Eventually, the trainee receives the first independent assignment. It may be something as simple as replacing a damaged relay, inspecting a crossing signal, or troubleshooting a faulty warning light. The repair itself might take only a few minutes, but reaching the correct diagnosis often takes much longer. Learning how every component interacts with the rest of the signaling system becomes one of the biggest challenges of the career. By the end of the first year, the work feels completely different from the first day. Signal cabinets are no longer mysterious metal boxes. Electrical diagrams begin making sense. Problems that once seemed complicated become routine. The first promotion usually follows this stage, bringing greater responsibility, more complex repairs, and a noticeable increase in pay. But the real challenge is only beginning. The systems become larger, the technology becomes more advanced, and every decision carries even greater responsibility for keeping thousands of trains moving safely every day. As experience grows, railroad signal maintainers begin handling far more than routine inspections. Instead of simply checking equipment, they're expected to diagnose complex failures that can affect entire sections of a railway network. A crossing gate that refuses to close, a signal displaying the wrong aspect or a communication failure between control systems can stop trains for miles. Every minute matters because delays quickly affect freight deliveries, passenger schedules, and railway operations across the region. Troubleshooting becomes one of the most valuable skills in the profession. A maintainer must analyze electrical diagrams, test circuits, inspect relays, verify voltage levels, and isolate faults without replacing unnecessary components. Sometimes the problem is obvious, like a damaged cable after a storm. Other times, a tiny electronic failure hidden inside a control cabinet can take hours to locate. Modern railroads rely heavily on computerized signaling systems, so today's maintainers must understand both traditional electrical equipment and digital technology. Programmable logic controllers, communication networks, fiber optic cables, and remote monitoring systems have become part of everyday work. Technology continues evolving, meaning learning never really stops. Every few years, new systems require additional training and certifications. Emergency calls also become a normal part of the job. Equipment doesn't wait for business hours to fail. Signal maintainers are often called out late at night, during holidays, or in severe weather when unexpected failures occur. Heavy rain, lightning, snow, and extreme temperatures can all damage critical railway equipment. Restoring service safely and quickly becomes a race against time while dispatchers, train crews, and maintenance teams coordinate every step. Preventive maintenance remains just as important as emergency repairs. Experienced maintainers spend countless hours testing crossing gates, calibrating sensors, replacing worn components, and inspecting track circuits before problems appear. A successful day often means nothing unusual happened at all because the system continued operating exactly as designed. As responsibilities increase, maintainers begin working on larger rail yards, busy freight corridors, and passenger rail systems where hundreds of trains pass every day. These environments require constant concentration because multiple tracks, switching systems, and signal networks operate simultaneously. Every repair must be carefully planned to avoid disrupting rail traffic or creating unsafe conditions. By this stage, the career becomes less about fixing individual components and more about understanding how the entire signaling network functions as one integrated system. Employers recognize that level of expertise with higher pay, greater independence, and the trust to handle some of the most critical infrastructure in the transportation industry. But the highest levels of the profession demand even more technical knowledge, leadership, and responsibility, where experienced signal maintainers become the people others rely on whenever the railway cannot afford a mistake. The most experienced railroad signal maintainers eventually become the experts everyone calls when the most critical problems occur. At this level, the job goes far beyond replacing relays or testing circuits. They lead maintenance teams, coordinate large-scale upgrades, supervise system testing, and make decisions that keep entire railway networks operating safely. Many are responsible for planning maintenance schedules months in advance, ensuring critical equipment is serviced before failures ever occur. Some specialize in high-speed rail systems, while others work on freight corridors carrying thousands of tons of cargo every day. Every project requires precision because even the smallest mistake can affect hundreds of trains and thousands of passengers. As railroads continue modernizing, experienced maintainers also help install advanced signaling technologies, digital interlocking systems, positive train control equipment, and new communication networks designed to improve both safety and efficiency. Their years of field experience become just as valuable as their technical knowledge, especially when unexpected situations require quick decisions. Many professionals eventually move into supervisory roles, training apprentices, reviewing complex repairs, and ensuring every maintenance procedure follows strict industry regulations. Others become technical specialists, traveling across the country to support major infrastructure projects or assist multiple railway divisions with challenging system upgrades. At this stage, salaries are significantly higher than when they first entered the industry, reflecting years of experience, certifications, and the responsibility that comes with protecting one of the nation's most important transportation systems. But the rewards come with sacrifices. Railroad signal maintainers often work nights, weekends, holidays, and during severe weather because trains never stop running. The responsibility never truly disappears. Every repaired crossing, every functioning signal, and every correctly aligned switch represents another safe journey for passengers and freight crews who may never know the work happening behind the scenes. For the right person, however, that's exactly what makes this career so rewarding. It's a profession built on technical skill, discipline, and responsibility, where success isn't measured by how many people notice your work, but by the millions who arrive safely because everything worked exactly as it should. From a nervous apprentice learning basic electrical systems to a trusted specialist responsible for some of the most advanced railway signaling networks in the world, every level of a railroad signal maintainer's career is earned through experience, continuous learning, and attention to detail. It's one of the most overlooked careers in the transportation industry, yet without it, modern railroads simply couldn't operate safely. If you enjoyed discovering how this career really works, subscribe to Career Atlas for more documentaries exploring the world's most fascinating technical, industrial, and engineering professions.